And I'm reaching out to all of our brothers and sisters on the African continent. You're tuning into Black Hot Fire Radio.
Now that I have your attention, look, I ain't got a car or a mansion, but a nigga is handsome, tight. You ain't gotta carry us with looks. Naliwena, nigga, it's a couple and where we shook line. So let us push by. Undercover, but show me you look nice. Keep them guessing, what does she look like? Borrow one for the books. All I'm trying to say is that I'm aging. I'm tired of running around with all these ladies. It's time to settle down. I know this might come off a little crazy, but for when I got a lady, girl, you got the crown.
My life for the first time. Don't know how I might just live the butterfly away. We still got love. And if you move like a dog, baby, I won't judge. Give me a kiss and a hug. Tell her what you must away. Getting hammer now.
Karibuni sana to another beautiful episode of the Pan-African Bliss. My name is Joby. Hope you guys are doing great today. Happy Tuesday to everyone who's live with me on YouTube, BitChute, on Rumble, on the radio station, on all our streaming platforms as usual, and of course, Spreaker, Spotify. To those who catch this on a replay, and of course on the radio live as well, Karibuni sana. Feel free to keep your conversations, of course, right here on the chat. Rather, in case you feel like you want to engage, want to tune in on the show, we can also share the link. But karibuni sana to yet another beautiful conversation. We shall be talking about Africa, underestimation of their spirituality, and I have different videos, different facts that explain how we've literally underestimated our spirituality, and of course looking at also the African stolen artifacts. Personally, I'd say this is a topic I've shared a couple of times, but do you stop learning? Hell no. You learn every single day, and if you dwell deeper, rather if you go deeper on most of the stolen artifacts that are in Belgium, in Britain, the ones that are in France, literally all over these European and Western countries. There's so many, but did they carry something heavy from those who it was taken away from? It carried and symbolized something very heavy spiritually. And this is a topic personally I love also talking about, because when we talk about spirituality, who doesn't want to learn how we can tap into our higher powers? I love learning that because it opens many ideas on how I can keep on tapping into my higher powers. But karibuni sana, before we get into that as well, we shall be talking about what is happening in Ivory Coast. Assassination of Gadame, that was actually the aspiring presidential candidate, and he has been assassinated this particular morning. So we shall be talking about that, what is happening in Ivory Coast. Also in Tanzania, like I said, elections actually are 8 days to go, 8 days away. And the tension that is rising in Tanzania, we actually witnessed it not only during the weekend, but I shared a video yesterday explaining the amount of dictatorship that has taken place in this country. Personally, I've seen videos and documents showcasing of how the people of Tanzania themselves are suffering under the arms of Samia Suluhu, and we shall be discussing slightly on that as we wait and look forward towards the election, if she's going to take this puppet seat again, or we're going to have another winner who's going to lead the people towards greatness. Understand, we have currently the opposition who's been detained. His name is so hard for me to pronounce, by the way, but yes, we had Kenyans rescuing him during the weekend, and still again he's been detained. So it shows something when you talk about what is happening in Ivory Coast, literally about the assassination of the opposition or aspiring presidential candidate and other detained aspiring presidential candidates. It shows you literally these are people who are willing to move the country towards greatness, and these are threat to the white man as always. But on that as well, I'll be discussing another video. Literally yesterday we spoke about on Museveni, and this morning, actually no, a few hours ago, that was around yesterday in the evening, there was information about him released, and he went ahead and debunked the rumors that were being spread about his critical condition, about his health. So we shall be talking about that as we start with that. But a quick reminder, as always, kindly rush to the Google Play Store, get yourself amazing merchandise. We have t-shirts, we have beanie hats. Yesterday Keith was rocking the black hood. Like, Keith is always flexing on you guys, like with the hoodies. He has different colors with the hat as well. You can get yourself the beanie, you can get yourself a mug, you can get yourself a handbag for your wife and side chick. I keep saying, like, make them happy so that you won't be caught. But also, your health is your wealth. We have amazing organic supplements that you can get yourself on the sports page. We have on the likes of skincare products, aloe cucumber, we have shea butter, very raw shea butter. We also have amazing other organic supplements on the like of multivitamin, moringa pure CMOS. We also have some ashwagandha. But for me, as always, before we get started, I love to keep you focused. So get yourself some brain and focus and the benefits they come with. In case you're having some dementia, this is for you. In case you're facing any brain problems, this is for you.
Unlock your full potential with Brain and Focus, a powerful supplement designed to boost mental clarity, enhance memory, and sharpen concentration. Made from a blend of scientifically proven ingredients like ginkgo biloba, omega-3, and essential vitamins, Brain and Focus is crafted to fuel your mind. Our process ensures maximum potency and effectiveness, delivering the perfect balance of brain-boosting nutrients. Take just one capsule daily, as prescribed by your healthcare provider, and feel the difference. Whether it's powering through your workday or staying sharp in life's challenges, Brain and Focus keeps you at the top of your game. Stay sharp, stay focused, and stay ahead with Brain and Focus. Brain and Focus, fuel your mind, achieve more. Go get this product at blackhotfirenetwork.com at the Sports and Nutrition Store.
A very affordable price. And in case you have any questions, as always, kindly email us at kcnews15@gmail.com. I hope I'm loud enough, you guys. I have a flu, so I'm struggling. I feel like I don't have that much of the voice to raise, but it's gonna come. It's gonna come as we move on. But anyway, karibuni sana. Shout out to K Williams. I see you in the building. Hope you're doing great. I see you on a lunch break. You're not on your lunch break. It's still not yet lunch break. It's very, very early in the morning. Goddamn, you're confusing me. But no, I see you saying good morning, Joey, at work listening. I forgot my lunch. Can you send me some? I wish I could, man, but I can't. I can't. All I can send is peace and light unto you. And of course, wishing you a very beautiful day. And thank you so much for always keeping in the Black on Fire Network. Yes, I mean vitamins, of course, in case you want some vitamins, we got you covered and much more. But as we get started with today's conversation, yesterday I highlighted something about some of the events that took place during the weekend. And one of them was the Ugandan government, which was officially to address the nation about the health of Museveni, who was reportedly to be critically ill. That was during the weekend on Saturday evening. And still, we're not really sure about these rumors, but I think he has come to clarify it. And it could be maybe a video from way back, because I'm not really sure if there's video circulating online, if this is real or they just took a video from way back and posted it, because they're also saying the fact that he's still tweeting on Twitter is okay. But this man is the same guy. Last week he was using the same bullshit of campaign we saw Paul Biya pulling, using the puppet, the clowns, the statues with their image of, just literally campaigning for them because they can't physically appear because of their old age. And that literally shows something. And remember, yesterday I did share a video which was talking about Paul Biya and Museveni, how they've been the longest serving presidents of Africa, including the Equatorial Guinea president as well. That is Teodoro, literally. And let me just share literally what he had to say as we get to uncover what he was addressing. And of course, going back to yesterday's video, why do we really need all these leaders again?
Another problem we need to solve, I don't think it is a security problem, but it is an idiotic problem. The social media. The social media apparatus has been saying that Museveni is dead. So the security service needs also to solve that problem. I need to check with them to locate quickly the one who tells such a story, because you waste people's time. They should go for you. Another problem we need to solve is...
Of course, we know, number one, they don't like criticisms, and that just showcases the fact that we have that going on online. Personally, my take is people want you out. That is the message. It's not just rumors of you're dead. People want you out. People want you to step down. There's nothing you've done in terms of liberating this country to its best, in terms of the GDP, in terms of anything. There's nothing you've done. We're talking about actually almost 4 generations that have grown up seeing you as a president, and there's nothing that has changed completely. Nothing. Uganda is very poor. Most of the Uganda, actually, personally, and maybe you can correct me, shout out to people like maybe Maria, but most of the places I've seen in Uganda don't even have proper roads. If you're not talking about proper roads, leave alone even the improper roads we have that are full of potholes. Uganda barely has a majority of the places built with any type of tarmac road. Hospitals, talk about schools and bunch of things. There's clearly no development in Uganda. So it's not that the person who is actually doing this, they don't like criticisms. This is also one thing I really have a problem with Africans also in general. People don't like criticisms. I don't understand why you don't like being criticized. If you're on the wrong, accept you're on the wrong. If you've not been doing anything for the people, accept and just step the F down. But they want to keep on holding into this power, promising people, because Africans, again, because we have underestimated our spirituality, underestimated our capability, underestimated our numbers, they'll keep on giving you and serving you hopes. For how long will you keep on living with hopes? We're talking about generations living with hopes and prayers. Jesus, help me. I hope things change. I hope the next government is going to make a change. I hope we're going to have roads and hospitals. For how long are you going to keep on hoping? That's the question you need to keep on asking yourself. You've been, since you are a teenager, your mother, your father, your great-grandparents have been hoping. Now you're still hoping? Something is wrong with us, and we need to snap the F back. We really need to snap back, because this is very well explained. Listen to this. I shared this video yesterday, but I'm still going to share it. It explains, and this is what we're going to keep on having, this pattern of hoping. And you're going to get the same results.
Presidents don't retire, they regenerate. Let me explain. Cameroon's Paul Biya and Uganda's Yoweri Museveni have been presidents since the 1980s. Let's do the math. When these men were born, only 2 African countries had gained independence. They are older than most African nations themselves.
Imagine these idiots are older than even some of the African nations. Like,
have ruled longer than the average lifespan of the people they lead.
What?
Did you get that? And while they've been presidents, the world has completely changed. The Berlin Wall was still standing. The Soviet Union was a thing. Mandela was in prison, got out of prison, became president, even passed away. Their presidencies are older than Netflix, Google, smartphones, social media, even the modern internet before the first text message was ever sent. So you see why I say they regenerate? Because what else could explain how men in their 80s and 90s are still considered the best option to lead? Anyway,
imagine what literally exactly, that's a very good question. What makes these people considerable or considerate? Why are they still, why do they fit this political class? You're old, you need to retire. There's nothing you've done. And it goes back to, you can see one of the comments, literally one person says here, longevity in leadership should naturally come with accountability. Okay, which I've said a couple of times. I've been saying the responsibilities of leaders should be number 1. The traits you should have as a leader: inclusivity, responsibility, and accountability. If you can't be accountable, there's nothing you're doing in terms of leadership. You have to accept criticisms. You have to accept there's nothing working or there's something working. You have to be accountable. You can't keep on taking loans, keeping people in debt. You growing your balloon stomachs, fitting in really proper suits and red bottoms, expensive watches, you know, and thinking that that makes you an accountable leader. Hell no. There's no responsibility. There's no inclusivity. So what really makes these people fit at the age of being, at the age of grandparenthood, literally? You're a granddad, you need to retire. But they still, actually, they're considered as the best option of leadership in their countries. That is such a joke. But the AU is not gonna call you, it's not gonna call this. The African Union doesn't address this kind of issues because no, they like it that way. It's a board of old Negroes who can't critically think. Critical thinking. But this guy says longevity in leadership should naturally come with accountability and visible progress. Exactly, there's nothing they've done. While experience is valuable, 30 plus years in power without structured succession or fresh perspectives raises serious concerns about democratic health. The real question is, are the people genuinely choosing them, or are the system being designed to eliminate a choice? And that is exactly, we know the end of that sentence is exactly what is happening. So we need to redesign Africa. We need to literally rebuild Africa from the system it has been put, whether we like it or not. The saddest part of our people, we think whether we like it or not, change will have to apply. And if this generation doesn't want to apply it, the next generation might. Because I believe it's going to get to a point where people don't want to go to Europe anymore to be treated like shit. Well, you know, you can build the Europe here. It's going to get to a point where Africans will not tolerate bullshit from Chinese and Indians. You're in our continent. You're talking to me smack? You're talking smack to me? Are you crazy? You better, what? You're talking smack to me? That's why education is very, very important. But they have denied Africans education for a reason, for a very good reason. It is crazy. But looking at literally what is happening in Uganda, and of course questioning why they want these old leaders to be still an option of leadership. This is one of the reasons. What is happening in Ivory Coast and also in Tanzania, like I said, 8 days towards Tanzania elections. Of course, Samia Suluhu has detained one of the famous opposition aspiring presidential candidate who we saw was being rescued during the weekend by Kenyans and Tanzanians to come and literally attend the burial of the prime minister, the previous prime minister of Kenya, the late Raila Odinga. But we have in Ivory Coast news about the aspiring presidential candidate, that is Gadame, that is his name. If I'm pronouncing his name correctly, where tensions have continued to mount in Ivory Coast ahead of Saturday's presidential election. So this coming Saturday, there is elections. And Gadema has been shot and killed while on patrol in the southern country. More coming on this video.
As tensions continue to mount in Ivory Coast ahead of Saturday's presidential election, a gendarme has been shot and killed while on patrol in the south of the country. His assailants have not been identified, but the region is a traditional opposition stronghold and has been the site of recent protests against the government of President Alassane Ouattara, who's running for a fourth term. Since taking office in 2011, Ouattara has invested in major infrastructure projects across the country, but inequality and the cost of living have soared.
Well, we know Ivory Coast is one of the countries that they are actually using, of course, to try get into Burkina Faso. Remember that those were some of the reports we were getting earlier this year, late last year. They were trying to use Ivory Coast to find a way how they can invade Burkina Faso. So I bet literally the man who has been assassinated, this is my take personally, I feel like this is someone, of course, who probably is aspiring to work together with the Alliance Sahel state. And this is a power they are seeing arising that they don't want it to prosper. That is my take personally, because already we have a recent power or a military base being built that is Africa based or African, I'd say the African based literally, and created by Africans and by three leaders who are all about Pan-Africanism and without joking. So if other countries will come or have an election and we have an opposition candidate, our presidential candidate who is aspiring to work together with the Alliance Sahel state, probably or must be assassinated. This is bound to happen. And of course, the rest is also expected to happen in other African countries. This is why you can see these other puppet leaders, none of them are talking about the attempts of assassination that are happening to Ibrahim Traore. All of them are the same people actually begging the Alliance Sahel state to go back to the African Union. The same people are not addressing the issues of how the African Union has not done anything in terms of bringing peace in the African continent. But these are the same people working together with the EU, the UN, to continue destabilization of this country. So personally, that is my take. Maybe you can give me a different thought on what you think about what is happening in Ivory.
His opponents also accuse him of being too close to the country's former colonial rulers, France. The two leading opposition candidates, Laurent Gbagbo and Tidjane Thiam, have been barred from standing in the upcoming election, and
not even an African man.
All protests have been outlawed. 83-year-old Ouattara
Doesn't look African.
now faces 4 remaining opposition
Nothing close to African.
candidates. Former First Lady Simone Gbagbo, Ahwa Don Mello, Jean-Louis Billon, and Henriette Lagou. Their rallies have not been affected by the ban on protests.
Yeah, and you're gonna keep on dancing like that on the screen until you do something about your country. That is what I'm gonna say. But the same is happening in Tanzania as well. I won't talk much about it. I lost the article. I think they deleted the article or something. I can't find the article on that particular page. But yes, tension is rising as literally Tanzania is 8 days away towards the general election. Samia Suluhu, as she's been called a dictator, people want her to step down, and she's doing as much as she can. And we know the rest of the people who are helping her to, of course, attain this power to keep on being a puppet. She's completely selling out the country. We've seen different transformations in Tanzania. This year we saw her coming with very harsh rules and laws about foreigners putting up businesses in Tanzania. As much, some are fair, some are not fair, some are going to hurt other people. We're on the safe place personally. Us as Black Hot Fire, we're really good on that particular sector, but other people bet sure they actually have been hurt by that new law that was introduced by Samia Suluhu. Magufuli welcomed everyone. Magufuli was a man of the people, and that's why he was loved, and that's why he was killed. And that is the reason, that is the problem we have. You know, you shouldn't be loved. You should have people always just rising against you because you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing. And they like that. They like to see Africans in that position. But talking about Africans also in their position, spirituality, that is our main conversation for the day as we look at the stolen artifacts, and which is a conversation, of course, we've had a couple of times. Personally, I've talked about it on many shows on how the Africa spirituality as, and especially the stolen artifacts, how much they carried, what they symbolized, and I've gone even into some of the details and looking at how now we have the countries that stole most of these artifacts, how they have put even a price on them. And this is something Africans built out of knowledge, out of, again, guidance. Every artifact symbolized something. But it's crazy today, I can have an artifact like this, which is very ancient. Let me give an example. I can have something maybe like this tripod, right? Very ancient in my house. Then I have a religious nut of an auntie or maybe an uncle or maybe a father or a mother. They come to my house and they say this is witchcraft because it looks African. You know, if it's anything white, if I have a white Jesus in the white Jesus chart on the wall, that is okay. That I'll be a good child. I'll be like the child of God. I'm walking towards greatness. But having artifacts, anything that is actually, it's crazy because I've seen that actually in some of the places. I'm talking facts. I've seen people, or especially the older generation, who get intimidated by just you having some certain artifacts in your house. You know, you have some, maybe a nice looking ball or an African look. It's just crazy how the hatred towards African things has been pushed to the point where we don't like anything African, you know. So you see, everything or majority of the things we have, they're made in China because we've not learned how to embrace our very own creation, our very own ability and skills, if it really makes sense. So I have a couple of videos that I want to share from Joshua Maponga, from Professor Lumumba, and from two ladies. Joshua Maponga literally dwells is going deeper on understanding how Africans were lied to about their spirituality and Christianity. Also, we have Professor Lumumba, who's talking about the artifacts, how they were called the black magic, you know, which should sound like something bad, you know. And then we have this lady who's addressing this Christianity and spirituality and why you're not taught some of the things. But let's apply critical thinking first. As always, I love that. Bashatu K. Williams, I see you with some few comments. Let me go through them. I see you're saying that old man needs to be in a nursing home. That is so true. And he's another sellout, of course, always been. And he's going to be if Ugandans don't fight. He's going to die and give actually the power to the sun if Ugandans don't do anything about it. And sadly, this is going to be a country that has never developed. How many years of independence? Goddamn, who knows? As if we have one. And still the same cycle repeating itself. Also adds, who was that guy talking? He's not black. Exactly. Like I said, that is now the aspiring president of Ivory Coast. And you can see the other guy who has been assassinated is completely black, African. So if not him seeking to work with the Alliance Sahel state, these are my speculations. If not him seeking to work with the Alliance Sahel state, that is the reason why he has been assassinated. I don't know what could be the reason of him being assassinated, because mind you, like we've said a couple of times, they like the most corrupt and evil Yassa boss Negroes, right? And the fact, if you can't be, I guess, a boss Negro and you're trying to tamper with what or how they can keep on stealing resources in Africa, bubble gums on your head. But listen to this lady.
Let us put our spiritual differences aside and use critical thinking.
Okay.
Let us put our spiritual differences aside and use critical thinking. Just critical
Thinking. I'm always everyone.
Let us put our spiritual differences aside and use critical thinking. Just critical thinking. A witch is a person who has mastered the art of witchcraft over the years. A witch is a person who has failed.
Hold on. I want to understand. I want to be able to pause the video. I don't know why it's not allowing me. Just a minute.
Let us put our spiritual differences aside and use critical thinking. Just critical thinking. A witch is a person who has
critical thinking. Africans don't. You see, at least It's amazing that nowadays I'm finding mind-like people, you know, who are addressing critical thinking and how it has completely gone. People don't know how to critically think anymore. People are just doing things just because you want to do things. People just follow the crowd because, oh, it's trending, oh, this is happening, I can do just what? No, you can't. Critical thinking, you need to have the ability to critically think, know the difference between right and wrong, know the difference between, I don't know, just critically think, know when you're being fooled and when something is real. I always go back to the same question I've asked, I think now for the last 3 years. How is it that we're Africans, as much as we've been indoctrinated, how is it that we're Africans but we don't even have a sense? Some of us have completely lost even a sense of just knowing, nah, this ain't for me. Because I wonder how that still applies to me. You know, it's not like I knew everything that I know today, even 3 years ago. I've been learning every single day. Like I've said at the beginning of the show, you never stop learning. You'll never stop learning. You learn every single day. And that's why I can still go back to this history of artifacts and spirituality and how they're connected, because I don't know much as I think I know much. Just because I know spirituality was attached to these artifacts. How deep was it? What do I know? I don't know much. So we never stop learning. But it's so crazy that I don't get it. How are you African, but you don't even have a sense of, just a sense, something in you can, you know, you have to listen to your inner thoughts, your inner voice. Jesus is gonna do it. Okay.
After the art of witchcraft over the years, a witch is a person who has failed, stood up, dusted themselves up, and tried again. A witch is a person who has mastered the art of telepathy, astral projection, and many other spiritual rituals or practices.
Exactly. Number one, they don't stop learning. That is number one, because they're not, it's understanding how to manipulate. If I can put it in simple terms, what she's trying to explain, it's understanding how to manipulate the power you have, and also how to use the things around you for your own purpose. If maybe I'm putting it correctly, you know, it can be for a positive outcome, it could be for a negative outcome, but it doesn't take a day for you to learn this. So the more you practice, and this goes back to also what we're talking about, I think last week on Wednesday or Tuesday, about how we need to live correctly. I think on, yeah, one of the days or last week, when we're talking about how you need to live correctly, how you need to stop eating some things, which of course also some of us, most of us, it won't take a day for us to stop all this. You know, we've grown up in this world of illusions. We've grown up in this world of lies. We've grown up in taking some of the bullshit we didn't know we're not supposed to be taking them, you know? And you just don't wake up one day and you say, you know, today now I feel like, you know, I want to become now, I want to live righteously. You think it's easy? You're going to struggle. Your body itself even struggles. Your body itself, like, it struggles through that particular pattern until maybe you also, because this is how you have to set your mind. And your mind, you can set your mind and still not have the discipline to do it. But setting your mind and then keep on practicing it, you'll find yourself eventually doing it. So yes, talk about witchcraft, which is spirituality, literally how Africans use spirituality, how we applied spirituality. It took days of learning and practicing, not a day.
You take a picture of your prophet and a picture of Jesus Christ, put it in your house, and you say you are stopping a witch
exactly
from accessing your house.
Like I've said, I could have this artifact and this is gonna be called some witch whatever, and then I could have a picture of Jesus. Oh my God, I'm the most righteous living person on earth, and as much as I'm a killer, just because I have a picture of Jesus Christ in that, oh my God, God bless you, you're a child of God, you know, we need more people like you in this society. Hell yeah. Huh?
You take a sticker from your church, put it on your car, and say you are stopping a witch from accessing your car. Since we are using critical thinking, a car cannot move itself without human input. You have to physically and spiritually be inside the car for the car to have an accident. If you are having a spiritual battle that you have not been working on, the car is just an opportunity for your spiritual enemies. What matters here is your spirit. With or without the sticker, if you lose a spiritual battle, you will have an accident. If you're overpowered by your spiritual enemies, you will have an accident. You are fighting spiritual battles using stickers. It's like bringing a...
Exactly. It's like he keeps on saying we are on a spiritual war. We are on a spiritual war. It's not just a physical war. It's a spiritual battle. This is why when you talk about everything he keeps on teaching us on the dying, reincarnating, and coming back to this same dimension, literally. He says you shouldn't call it a dimension, but simply for me, that's how I can address it, you know, in this dimension. Because if we live right, if we live correctly, which this is why they have tampered with the food, the medicals, our education keeping us dumb, religion included, politics, a whole lot of mix-up, entertainment, and all that, we can't be able to go to our higher selves with all that distraction. So exactly what she's saying.
Stick to a gunfight. It's just like people who say, I've planted this tree in my house which stops witches from having access to my house. You're talking about a witch, a person who never easily gives up. If that tree stops them once, twice, third time, they are going to win, because they would have gone back to the drawing board, sat down, reinvent themselves, re-practice it, buy that particular tree or plant. My sister. We are talking about a witch here. I'll say this 1,000,000 times without tiring. You are fighting a spiritual battle with stickers, olive oils, and pictures.
Exactly.
Make it make sense.
Exactly. Olive oils and pictures. It's crazy. It's crazy because do you know how much I've seen my dad spend on those olive oils? Oh my goodness. And they're very expensive. No less than $10 or $8. Okay? No less than probably even $20. They tell you it's very powerful. It's gonna open your doors. You apply that shit, you're still living in the ghetto. Wake the fuck up.
You are trusting your life in prophets and pastors, human beings like you.
Imagine.
What they can do, you can do, but you choose to be a slave to that system.
Exactly. We are gods, right? You can tap into the same higher power you wish. You can visualize things, you know, if we live right. But sadly, we've gone way too effed up, you know. So if we have to go back to living right, we've been way effed up, especially as Black people. So we need to go back to living correctly.
You have the spirit of the Creator within you. You got the power within you, but you choose to be an obedient servant.
Mm-hmm.
You have the power within you. You have the spirit of the Creator within you. Why are you choosing to be dominated by another person like you? You see, weakness is a choice. Nobody was born weak. You choose to be weak. The only person who can save you is you. There is no pastor or prophet who has the power to save you.
Exactly.
It's between you and your spirit.
Exactly.
When they said your life is in your hands, they meant it.
Exactly. You want to keep on praying, you know, Jesus, can you drop a job for me? You expect it to fall on your hands? Yeah, in a magic world, maybe go to Disneyland. Maybe there's magic that happens there. Like what you see on the TV, they lie to you. Magic, all that magic is possible. I'm not saying magic is not real. Don't get me wrong as well, because we're talking about and addressing spirituality here. I'm not saying magic is not real. I'm not saying that. But critical thinking, like she said, you can't just be seated down, you're praying, asking for a job, and you're not going to look for a job. You wake up every day, all you do is gossip. You don't have anything productive that you can do for yourself. And you expect a job and the house to pay itself? Hell yeah, it will. Of course it will.
If your God was so powerful, you wouldn't have to chase people down in parking lots to prove it. And if your path is so divine, it would speak for itself instead of screaming through others. And if your religion truly brought peace, it wouldn't be tied to every single empire, war, and genocide since its invention.
Exactly. Especially that. It wouldn't be shout to Israel, not Israel, not Israel, not, huh? The most holiest, right, of the holy. So you see Kenyans very confused. We love Israel. We love, and it, what? Do you know history? Do you have facts of what Israel is doing? Or you just going with the media? Or, you know, Hamas is killing and genociding Israelite children and raping them. Have you seen the real fact? Have you seen the real images of what is happening in Hamas? I've seen them. I'm seeing bodies of people who have been killed while just being tied. Bodies rotten. I have a page that I follow that I can't even share those images. Very disturbing images. Kids under the rocks, bombed, and they don't care. Faces destroyed, legs ziko sijui wapi. And what? We need to wake up. And this goes back to energy, right? Spirituality again, and what we were even again learning last week. Energy, frequency, vibration. Energy, frequency, vibration. We're giving so much energy to these people, so much, to people who are doing the most diabolic things in this world. And you expect to ever win this battle, not understanding this is a spiritual battle? Wake up.
Christians are always coming to somebody else's profile in their comment section and attacking them when nobody was ever talking to you in the first place. But let me tell you something, you got the one and the two, because you're never going to fearmonger me into your beliefs. I don't need your God to be good. I don't need your book to be wise. I don't need your fear to be protected. Fallen angels is your mythology.
Exactly, because religion, actually the Bible is all based on fear. Christianity is based on so much fear. It's very, very crazy. Christianity is all based on fear. Fear this, don't do this, fear this, because everything you do, oh, Jesus is going to judge you, or you know, this judgment day. And then we go back to the heaven, hell, illusion and story. We've been told that we believe in, shout to me, that I was going to have a blonde hair, you know, you know. It's crazy. It's based on fear. I was once told, you know, the more you cry, the more your house in heaven is being created. And because I was a homeless person, I cried those tears. I cried every time, every chance I could get to cry. I'm like, oh my God, I remember Jesus. I remember the kingdom of heaven is being built by my tears. Yeah. What? At least I had critical thinking to still wake up and go get a job. You know, I had critical thinking to still hustle here and there, not sit down waiting for hopes.
Where the confusion comes in is that you're assuming that everyone else's deities and beliefs and religions have the answers to your cosmology. Orisha and Loa aren't falling from anything. They were never a part of your biblical storyline to begin with. Calling indigenous deities little while quoting a book full of angels mating with humans that's mating giants is peak protection. And if we gonna be 100% real with it, what you doing quoting the book of Enoch anyway? Wasn't it removed from your Bible?
Exactly. And most of the people don't know this.
Don't nobody want Jesus to come back more than I do for y'all, because I promise you the Jesus that y'all keep saying that y'all worship wouldn't even mess with y'all.
Exactly. Like, he doesn't give a shit about y'all. If you're talking about the Israel not, all right, if we're addressing the real Jesus right here, the real Jesus who controls everything in this world, who you're waiting on, doesn't give a shit about you. Doesn't. You'll keep on marching, you'll keep on demonstrating, doesn't give a shit about you.
Because the way my logic, critical thinking, and reading comprehension
logic, critical thinking. Those are two videos I've shared talking about what? The same thing. Logic, critical thinking.
Skills are set up from reading that Bible. Jesus ate with outcasts, not empire puppets, and he challenged religious leaders, not co-signed them. Jesus said, you will know them by their fruits, not church attendance. And he never once said, go forth and harass strangers at the grocery store until they cry. And the thing is, I don't have a problem with Christianity or Christians, but the difference between me and you is that I'm against bullying and forced conversion. And I don't ever need to prove or convince you to believe in what I believe. And it's a shame that y'all don't feel the same way.
Let me share the other one.
Who called it black magic? It is African religion and spirituality that other civilizations, particularly.
Now, if I had this kind of if I had this kind of things in my house, Now a religious nut is gonna come say this is witchcraft in my house. Bet sure of that. If you have a religious nut of a friend or of a parent, this kind of symbol would be, oh, you have witchcraft in your house. This is not good for you to have in your house. Oh, because your religion is based on fear. Like I've said, it's crazy how Christianity is based on fear.
It's not just Christianity, it's Islam too. It's based on ignorance and fear. So when you don't understand how you got conquered by lesser beings who are what? Low vibrational. So Christianity is a low vibrational religion. It's low, keeps you in a low vibration because you're in a trap. You keep coming back because you're not vibrating high enough. It's all a lie. So you would know that's a lie because you got open genocide happening now, the racism. Why isn't this fake religion start? All these religions were based on racism. Ain't it funny? Islam is racist as hell. You got the race. All these religions are based on these fake racism. Shout out to the lady telling the truth. I should find my phone since you that bit about the black lady telling the truth about these invaders coming in. You Muslims, black Muslims decided to all of North Africa. Those are invaders. Said, you don't want to tell the true history because it makes you mad about your fake religion. Those people in North Africa are not Africans. They're invaders. You've been told nonsense. You think they're my brothers, African. They're not Africans, and they don't like you because they're invaders. But anyway, like Joe be saying, because the creator resides in you. You're part of the creation of the creator. You are the creator. That's why you manifest with your mind. Everything you understand, but ancient Africa is how science actually works, right? That's why you got the Hindus think that these Indians, because they're just closer to our ancient tradition. Oh, this is the only real religion. No religion is real. You're not supposed to know religions. You're supposed to understand everything resides in you. You're not supposed to worship anything. There's no God creator. I don't want to use that God term. That's the European made up thing. When they made up thing, the creator doesn't need any worship from you or anything. It's nothing you could give it or take away from it that could impact it. As you find out, as the white man's going to understand, the creator has no name. No name that you could utter. You would never know it because you're on a low. We in a third dimension, right? Third vibration. So we can never even know what the creator's true name is. All these fake names, Jehovah, Yahweh, Allah. Oh, those are all fake. It's created by some goofy low vibrational people. Those are not the names of the creator. None of them are. If you the closest one would be from your own ancestors who vibrated highly. That's why all these things that you're scared of, you call witchcraft. These are all natural. If they were witchcraft, why can you do them and no one else can? Why can black people levitate? Why can black people take the sun and make it the energy and do what they need to do with it? How's that bad if it was given to you? That's what you're born with, able to do it, because no one else can do it. So they took your spirit and made you scared of you made African. Man, this is so diabolical. You made Africans scared to be African. Exactly. This is absolutely crazy.
Exactly. They made not only just they made Africans be scared to be African and everything African. Everything African. The skin bleaching, the putting the whatever chemical on your hair. A lot of things literally that have led to self-hate.
It's of course.
The hate of everything that is African. That's why I was saying it's crazy, because looking at the artifacts which we keep on talking about that are stolen, today maybe I can go to the market and find a very cute wooden artifact, artifact like kind of thing, and I decide to bring it in my house and bunch of them. Then I'll have a religious nut of a relative who's gonna come to my house and be like, these are not good, these are evil things.
Because they're indoctrinated, Joe. You look at them, smile, say, okay, if you're uncomfortable, get out my house. You're dealing with childlike minds. The Africans are childlike mind right now. So you look at that thing. How can anything coming from African people be evil when who was the African invaded, Joby? Who have they murdered and killed and slaughtered? No one. So nothing could come from them as evil because they've never been evil. But the people that's conquered and killed and took people to slavery, cut off people's dicks, castration, rape, rob, but their religions are holy, that's where you know your mind is effed up. Exactly. You're the most loving, kind people on the planet. So how could some evil come from you? It can't. You've been brainwashed.
Let me share this video of.
And hold on, let me say something. It ain't funny. All your evil shit sits in their museums. Ain't it funny? All your real science sits in their museums. You don't even know. If it was evil, why'd they take it? Why is it all sit up in their museum in England, France, Spain, Germany, Denmark, Netherlands? Why all this evil stuff sitting in there? If it's evil, wouldn't it be evil inside the museum? Like, oh, we don't want that evil stuff, and it makes the whole thing evil.
And they make Africans pay for it. Go view your history that we stole from you.
Yeah, and then they make you pay for it, and then they put their own spin, their own lies on it. They tell their own lies. It's funny. They give you back your history with lies. That's why you never knew that they couldn't. That's why most Africans know that white people didn't wash their ass. White people didn't wash their hands, didn't take baths. You like, oh my God, well, your guy was stank. He didn't wash his ass. He didn't like brush his teeth.
Let me share this video as we get closer to winding up. On the last video I'm gonna share, we have Joshua Maponga explaining the same on our spirituality and how Africans were fooled with religion. And then I think tomorrow, since I was not able to cover the video of now, which goes deeper on artifacts and how they are spiritually based. Like I've said, I've discussed some of this, but I'm not able to go deeper to understand also some. So I'm also learning, just like the same way you guys will be learning. But
you're always learning. We always learn that we don't know everything. Well, we go through a whole life learning. That's what life is. So you should be always learning. So we don't ever have.
It is like who called it
true.
And also
black magic.
Also shout out to Airtime's the one Joe said was Cameroon. Shout out to this cool. And I told you that the Cameroonians didn't want no Paul Bitty vote. So the youth went out there, every polling station, they said, we're gonna vote. We're gonna count these votes. It's gonna be war, it's gonna be war. So the youth took of all the polling sites in Cameroon and they personally counted the votes. They know who won, but now they waiting all along to try to get Paul Bear back in there. If they do it, they steal it again. It's a revolution because they went everywhere. Not just one person. The youth went to all of Cameroon, east, west, south, everywhere, and they took over the voting thing. They said, we're going to count these votes. There were too many. They couldn't stop them. Just like what you see happen between Tanzania and Kenya. They tried to stop the youth. The youth said, we're the youth. We're too many. You're not going to stop us from doing what we want to do. And these borders are fake. These borders are fake. Made by white people.
Let me share this.
Who called it black magic? It is African religion and spirituality that other civilizations, particularly the whites and the Arabs, characterize as black magic. There is nothing black about it, and there is nothing magic about it. It is their way of communication with God. Every other civilization has dark powers, and those dark powers are the ones sometimes that are characterized as witchcraft. And if you want to know that these are known to all civilization, they have a word for it. Whenever you see that a society has a word for something, it means that they are familiar and that they practice that thing. So I don't want us to use the word black magic.
And witchcraft as well, literally.
You got to stop using their terms because they demonize. The whole thing about them demonizing Africa is they needed to steal. That's why you got all Northern Africa white. These fake people. And South Africa, the thing was to steal Africa. They haven't stopped the theft of Africa. They had to demonize you, demonize your beliefs, and have you follow them so they can genocide your ass. You understand this? This is how deep it goes. You never had any damn religion. You had spiritual science. That's why everything African didn't put nothing into practice unless it was proven in nature. That's why your Christianity don't work, it's not in nature, it's fake. Why your Islam don't work, it's not in nature, it's fake. African science is science. It's spiritual science. They didn't say, well, we're just gonna do some crazy stuff if they couldn't prove it. So it was always science, not just some because you don't understand it because what? You're low vibrational. You go to Africans, you see them raising rocks. Oh, what is that? How can they raise a rock? How can they make a rock float? Oh, what is that? That's their vibrational thing with them communing with the creator and becoming part of the creator's inner circle. They had to make shit levitate, move shit with their minds. You can't do it. because you vibrate too low. It's not witchcraft, science. Go ahead.
Let me share the last video, Joshua Maponga.
But history tells us that as Africans, we were pagans. Before Christianity was brought to Africa, we were worshipping demons and witchcraft and all these things.
Demons.
Is that true?
All African, when you pick up the book, by the way, there's a chapter I put there for African names of God in the African space. And when you get to that chapter, you discover that African traditional religions are all monotheistic. uNkulunkulu, uMvelinqangi, Mudimu, Ramasedi, Mngari, Gainyame, Onkopon, all those names. They don't talk of a plural God.
Exactly.
When the white man found an African kneeling under a tree in prayer, they said he's worshipping a tree. There's no African religion that teaches Africans to worship their forefathers and their ancestors.
No, they worship. They know
ancestors
they didn't worship ancestors. They got you, but you worship the white people ancestors. These fake bishop, these fake what they call them things in church. Oh, your saints. You worship white people, wicked as hell, right? That's why I had to get Joe because Joe, your ancestors. Yes, your ancestors are you. The African knew that there's no such thing as death. This is already proved by science. Africans were they come from a higher realm of intelligence. Africans knew that all this stuff is an illusion. Doesn't exist. It's all an illusion, right? So they knew that you were your ancestor. You were venerating yourself. You didn't worship any ancestors. You knew that you were returning they knew that the children was a returning ancestor because they know something get out of this illusion. So they didn't worship, they venerated. They didn't worship any ancestors. They venerated who came before, understand that they are the same people that came before. Because we know what? Energy doesn't die. You can't create energy and you can't destroy it. So the African knew this. So the African knew that was just them returning. The child was an ancestor returning. Because energy can't, there's no such thing as death. Energy can't be created and it can't be destroyed. Africa knew that. That's new to white people. Now they just now got the science. That's ancient science. So they didn't worship any ancestors. They venerated them. They venerated the attributes. Well, no, I worship my ancestors, my grandma, my blah, blah, blah. No, they venerated. They gave respect to themselves because they knew there was a chain of them. You are who you were. That's all. But see, the white man was too ignorant. You guys got to understand, you come from people that are ignorant. They got control of the world, yes. A lot of your science they know now. But you're coming from a backward people called Arabs and Caucasians who were illiterate, couldn't read or write, were stupid, coming down giving you their fake religion and their fake understandings. You've been now conquered by backward people. That's what you got to understand. Everybody never want to teach you no real history in Africa or in America, ever. We were conquered by backward people. So you doing your regular science, they couldn't understand. That's why they call ancient Africans mysteries. The Africans never called this science mystery. These are mystery schools, mystery. It's a mystery to them because they're stupid. Remember, the African was called what? The sage race, meaning the smartest. Go back in ancient times, the Africans were called the sage race. The Asians called us that. Caucasians called us that. Because we were the smartest people. So sage meant the most intelligent. So you got conquered by the least intelligent, right? And you infected your babies with all this so crazy and low vibrational ignorance. We got conquered by morons. Literally. We got conquered by idiots who just crawled out the caves and didn't know how to wash their hands. They didn't know how to wash their hands, but like not to have dirty hands to eat. Just normal shit. They never want you to know none of this. But they had all these plagues in Europe and they were dying with doo-doo and feces and just always dying. And it wasn't to the African, to the Moors, teach them how to live righteous, live normal, that to save their ass. But they would have been wiped out. So you got conquered by ignorant, aggressive, brutal, savages. We got conquered by savages. And so now we've adopted their understanding of things. And now that they're getting a little smarter right through time, all their science proves African spirituality is correct. Because now they're getting enough knowledge. Remember, you get caught, they were stupid. Coming after them, you get taught by morons. So now that they've had enough time to learn the last 200 years, all their science takes you right back to African spiritual science. That's been proven to be what's real, how the universe really works, how things actually evolve. Shout out to the British girl again. You think I came from your rib, right? I came from your rib. The thing that they taught. These morons believe that a woman came. You imagine how stupid you are. You believe a woman came from a man's rib? The woman is first. It's a scientific. See, Africans knew the woman was first. Scientific facts. But now you've been talking about morons. They think you're talking about the woman is behind and she's not to be this, and that's from idiots. The woman's first. These are the facts. The African woman's first. She's the first among equals. She's not better than the black man, but she's the first among equals. She's to be respected because God's telling you. God picked her first. The Creator put her here first. Though nothing exists without the black woman. That's just a fact. Their science is now finally catching up with it. They're funny. The African been in that. Though nothing start on this planet if it doesn't come through the black woman. She is the first. Right? But you got people, all black women, they got a black woman all in that Islam shit wrapped up like this, looking all fucking crazy and shit. Hey, all fucking crazy because you lost your African side. The African woman came first. So that's why she was to be respected, not dominated. So the African man, what? Go back to all ancient science, African man venerated the African woman. She was the first quote unquote creator of God that people worship, the African woman, right? Because she was the first. Now, what the thing about worship is to give her respect that, hey, God made her first, so it must be something special about this woman, so we're going to venerate her. They told that's now wicked and evil. Nah, you worship some fake white man who ain't never lived with animal fur on his head. You know what? Crazy shit. But then they go, that's why they went around trying to get African women's eggs. They know she's the beginning. These are facts, science. Go ahead, Joe.
Historical connecting cable to the creation that happened before we became. Therefore, I am Joshua, the son of Lazarus. Lazarus, who is the son of Marara. Marara, who is the son of Maponga.
Exactly.
Maponga, who is the son of Munyuki. Munyuki, the son of Muchena.
And they start doing
Muchena, the son of Nduma.
Hey, Bible. That's what I see. The Bible. See, when you go back into Genesis, they say the son of this, the son of, because that's all African. Remember, they couldn't create any religions without taking African spiritual science and twisting it. Why you go in your Bible, it says son of this, Moses the son of him, the son of this. That came from Africa, because they remember they have no history. There's all things where these other people come from, and that's why I never want to tell you where do East Indians fucking come from, where do Asians come from, and where do Caucasians come from. Never want to tell you where they come from. Where the fuck you come from? How'd you get here? I did it. You're supposed to tell me what to do and tell me that you're better. Where do you come from? They always wanted this because they know it's always a mystery. Where the fuck you come from? Where you come from? How'd you get here on this planet? They always don't want to go back to that. Where you come from?
Black magic.
Yeah.
Nokwara, son of Chapinduka, son of Mwenemtapa, son of Tobera, son of Murenga. From the great kingdoms of Guruswa in Embo, the sons of Nangashe were in Ethiopia now. Who are the sons of Ham in your Bible? The sons of Cush, the sons of Adam, the sons of God.
No, and those stories are fake. And those stories are fake. But you see how they took what you used to do about the son of this, you venerate the ancestors going back for your lineage line. They put, because the Africans wanted to create that first goopy book to give to white people. That's why you see that. And they say, don't do that's evil. It's in your goopy book, moron. Son of Cush, the son of Ham, the son of this, son of that. That came from African cosmology, moron. But you never taught none of this. You never taught no real history. You, like Joby, you go to your African schools, and you're given this goofy Bible. You know where it came from, who wrote it, what's the historical reference to it. You just believe it's some kind of goofy history book, and none of those people in that book ever existed. That was your Africans creating allegories. These are actually, it's really like an allegoric book to have you raise your vibration, because they couldn't really get the Europeans anything. Because the Europeans wouldn't know, because they knew the Africans were ancient. Where do you come from? How do you do this? Write us something. Write us a book about God and blah blah blah. So the Africans wrote that stupid Bible, the Old Testament called the Septuagint. That was not a history book. That was them giving them, because they knew African. They already knew you were going to go into slavery and get conquered. But they were giving you. If they knew if you were going to get smart enough and your vibration was going to get high enough, you were going to be able to read the Bible and say, "Oh, this ain't people. These are practices." Yes. As you get smarter, you were going to be able to look at the Bible and say, it's not people. These are practices. Oh, they knew eventually because your vibration was going to rise. And if you caught that goofy religion, they knew that eventually you were going to look at the book. You knew it wasn't no real people. You know these were spiritual practices that they were giving back to you. And when your vibration, like as Dope told you, when you read the Emerald Tape, say keep reading. If you don't understand it, keep reading. As your vibration rates and your vibration rises, the words will start jumping off the page to you. Start knowing. You start knowing because everything matches like Joe had that lady. Everything matches your frequency. Because if you have a low thing of consciousness, you read the Bible, you're too stupid to know that these are practices and not people. You'll look and say, "Oh, Moses lived and went on a mountain, and the Israelites and all that kind of," because you're low vibration, you have enough consciousness, you have enough knowledge. But eventually, as you acquired knowledge, the African knew you being melanated and everything is spiritual and vibrational, you would start knowing. You say, "Oh, these are practices. This is a spiritual book hidden as a fake religious book, as an allegory of history, but it's not history, because you go back to history, none of that shit ever happened. It's all fake. There wasn't any Jesus. It's all fake. Walking on water is talking about what the things you can do. What as Joby said earlier, get back to righteous living and rise your vibration through certain practices. These are all allegories. And they talking about that. Why he took the name Christ. Christ is not a person. Christ is you. Christ is you. You're the Christ. And that's why in the Goopy Bible they read to said, things that I'm doing, you will really do. So that's them giving you back your knowledge, telling you, you're the Christ, not any goopy fake white man. That's why they call what? Buddha and their religion and Hindu. Christ. Christ is you raising in consciousness. As you raise in consciousness, Joby, Zenobia, K. Williams, you become the Christ. Christ is not a person, it's a vibration, it's a frequency. And then they show you all those miracle things that the Christ in the book, that's you. You can do all that shit. That's the dirty little secret. You are the Christ.
As we wind up,
understand that our ululations of our African genealogy is not worshipping ancestors.
Exactly.
But recognizing those who were here before us, connecting us to the one who made us before we became.
Exactly. Before we became physical. That's all it is. Exactly right.
Then you say in African worships ancestors. There's no African religion. There's no African spirituality that teaches you to worship your forefathers.
Never.
It simply says, call on them. And by the way, there's no African prayer that does not end before you say, please tell the one who created you to deal with this problem. Therefore, it's what we call sacred history interpreted in European construct. When an African calls his forefathers, just like a Jew says, God of Isaac, God of Jacob,
that's what
God of Abraham.
Exactly. But they do ignorance. That's where all that came from. Came from your traditions, bastardized. You don't understand what you tell me. They call on their ancestors in your goopy book who never existed. And you call on your real thing, you're like, oh, what? That's what's real. That came from you.
And etc. And African, and by the way, white people don't know the Bible. Well, they don't have ancestors, they don't have surnames, they don't have totems. When they say Jesus of the tribe of Judah, they don't know the other Jesus is Mtaung. So we cannot help them. Because even the construct of the text itself challenges their culture, which they don't have.
I just said.
When your brother dies, please go and marry the wife. A white man does not know how to do that. But in African, it's culture. When boys are of a certain age, please go and circumcise them. A white man does not know how to do that. A black man knows how to do that. Now, how can you wait for a white man to tell you what is in the text when the culture and the religion of the text is not European?
Exactly.
80% of the Bible is polygamy. The white man does not know that. He comes down with the monogamous concept on the end. Then we start teaching it, etc., on the left and create media around that.
The African can't do it now. He's too low vibration. Monogamy was not a polygamy. Monogamy was only used, especially when you were higher vibration. If a woman lost her husband, because we knew there was always more women on the planet, and so a woman needed to be protected. So we would marry her to the other family, so she would be protected and also taken care of. That's what it was meant to do. Not to say I'm gonna have all these women, any kind of sexual shit. It said a woman had to be protected. And she lost her husband, we engaged her into the family because there's always women. That's how you know God is telling the black woman is first. There's always going to be more women than men. It's not a thing. That's how you know she's first. So you can't cave in nobody's rib and there's more women than men. Doesn't make any sense. It's fucking backward and stupid. So it's always, we knew the African was always going to be more women. So we said, okay, if a woman loses her husband, she has to be protected. So we have to invite her to our family so she can be protected and taken care of. That's how monogamy started. It was high vibrational because there's always more women than men. Because the woman is the fallback. She's a fallback pattern. That's why everybody in the womb, when they're being born, is a woman first. You don't become a man till later. Everything starting out in the womb is a woman. See, nature showed you the truth, not your fake religion. I come from a rib. So why in the fact that everybody starts in the womb is a girl? A man goes from a girl to a boy in the womb. But he starts off as a girl because the girl is the fallback. She's the original blueprint of creation on this planet. She's the original fall. That's why I told you energy goes from woman to male. This is just fact of what nature shows you. So the woman, black woman, is first. See, nature shows you all that. Science. It's fact. Don't show about no fucking woman coming from no man's rib. Are you crazy? And she's XX and you XY. Okay, well, let's end it, Joby. See, Joby Space. Go ahead.
But yes, as we wind up, I've shared the rest of the video on the WhatsApp chat for those who'd love to continue. It's 10 minutes long. I'd played 5 minutes long, but I see Sinova in the building. Karibu Sana. She says, I don't know how much about the Muslims religion, but I do know that the Christianity have demonstrated demons in the church. And
Islam is just fake Christianity. That's what the books are saying. What you found, the white Arab, they couldn't get them to believe the Jesus fake story, right? So they created another story and made their person a prophet, the Muhammad scam, right? Because the white backward Arab couldn't read or write. He wouldn't accept the fake Christian, but some man called Jesus was doing miracles. Like, that's shit stupid. So what they did is, okay, we'll change it and make the Jesus character in the Islamic faith. They're going to make him a prophet. And then the last prophet is their prophet, Muhammad. So it's the same bullshit. It's all fake. It's all made up. It's just a derivative of Christianity. That's why they tell you they're people of what? The book. The Quran. You find the Quran in ancient, Bible in ancient. They all come from the Abrahamic, because of the Abraham religion. Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, all fake. and they all just a cut of African signs. And you go to the east, you got Buddhism and Hinduism. It's all African shit. It's all just plagiarized African. And all and the Islamic and the Christianity use that to invade Africa, take over African people's minds with the religion and enslave them and steal their land. It was all used as conquered things. You got black people, like Joey said, Israel can't stand your fucking black ass. You're trying to take over the rest of Africa right now because your mind is fucked up. That's exactly what we're going. But see, they were all used as conquest. They would never remember when Constantine was making Christianity. He never converted that Christian. He knew he was making it up. He knew it wasn't real. That's why he never converted. He like converting this goofy shit. I'm using it for power. I'm making it up. I'm taking these African. Remember when they were making the Christian thing? They were taking all that shit from Africa, mixing this shit up. Okay, we got this big Jesus guy. We say blah, blah. They were taking all that shit, mixing up, and then if you didn't accept it, Constantine was killing you. Remember, he was killing off all the people. Say, hey man, you can't make this fake religion. Say, yeah, we making it. If you don't agree with it, I'm gonna chop your head off. That's how you got Christianity, right? It's fake. Islam the same way, fake. All North African people taking the slavery, murdered, killed. They would come to you. They come to you with a sword. Islam or die. You don't want to teach them on Islam. They come to the African. Islam or die. The African, what? Islam? What you talking about? You accept Islam or you die. That's what it means. Islam. Okay, I'm Islam then. I'm Islam. That's what I'm Islam. Islam or die, nigga. You can go ahead.
As wind up, I also say Sinovia says, Christians believe in order to get into the fake heaven, they have to kiss the white man's ass because
of course Jesus like white. Yeah, I was mind control.
I was trying to find a video that I could wind up with that statement you made, but I think I lost it. Of this girl was also, she's a Sudanese and she always calls out black people who, especially black girls who are bootlickers of white men. She's like, she doesn't understand the indoctrination, how bad it is that you have to just keep on smiling on a white man's face, go flocking on their comments, just trying to be seen. It's so crazy. Because
that's the worship, guys. Remember, they took it because they remember that they're so diabolical. They talk African, Africans don't even know, most Africans know that the North of Africa was black. They don't know the people are invaders. They don't know it couldn't be 2,000 years. There couldn't be no white man in that part of the world. That was all black people shit back then. That's why they don't teach them no real history. So if I get this fake white man with the blue eye, you grew up that your whole life, as Joby said. Joby said she thought she was supposed to go to heaven, have blonde hair, turn to blonde hair. That's called mind control. It's real propaganda. So that's why African women, black women go worship white men. That's why they do it. And all and the black men worship white women. They're indoctrinated with these lies.
That's so sad. But Jib also says I was taught don't show the molars grinding. That's so sad. But much love, family. Thank you so much for tuning in. And this has been the Pan-African Bliss Show. We're discussing about spirituality of Africans. And I've shared a couple of videos based on that topic. But on the main topic that I was to share videos on, regarding the artifacts and the spirituality based on them, I'll share that tomorrow. So tune in if you'd like to learn something. But much love. The show doesn't end here. We have the BHFN Countdown with Shmani and Iwaton on the radio, on the network. So download our app on the Google Play Store if you want to listen via the radio, or others tune in on the network. That is the show page. But much love. Have yourselves a beautiful day. Good day to you, K. Williams. Good day. My ugali, I don't have ugali yet. Yeah, not yet.